Hey there, fellow vegetable nerds. This is Kelly. You knew that. Thanks for hanging out with me on day 2 of my medieval cooking adventure. So let's get started. Just jump straight into meat and veg.
Hey, turn up the caramel and chisel on the shizney. It's time for me to what? Let me introduce myself. I'm Gino Burrito. My pants are made of leather. I find it hard to concentrate.
Okay, so this is gonna be a weird one. Let's just start out and say that. This is gonna be a little bit of a weird one. I'm not sure where it's gonna go or how it's gonna go. I mean, starting off, we have a different angle. You're seeing a different part of my kitchen. This is very indicative of just sort of me cluttered, but in a fun way. You know, I do have my stuff all laid out for the recipes I'm gonna be making right now. On day 2, we're focusing on beef and pork, but again, the focus of these classes are sauces. So the specific beef and pork things that I make don't matter that much. They're just things that are gonna go well with the sauces. Again, there are vegetarian substitutes, but I didn't really know what they were at the time, so I just bought the things on the list, which were meats. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. There are more recipes today than I'm actually going to be cooking. I almost didn't do this at all. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. I am still very excited about this class. I'm very, very excited about all of this. Everything I've been making has been so delicious. We had a great Zoom call this morning and I got to see some of the other people taking the class, and that was nice, and people got to ask questions, and I'm really enjoying this whole experience. The only reason if it seems like my energy's low, it's because my energy is low. This just happens to be coinciding with something kind of huge. I don't know what day this is going to be published, but the day that I am filming this is November 3rd. So that means in the United States it is election day. And that means if you're in the United States, you understand this is a really hard day for a lot of people, and we don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't know what the world looks like on the day that you're watching this, and it is scary, and we're all glued to the computer and the TV and watching results come in, both local and national, and there's a collective anxiety and sadness, and a lot of people are stepping away from social media and just saying, hey, I need time. I can't deal with things right now. I'll have to come back to this later, and that's understandable, because I tell you what, yeah, I'm there. You know, it's kind of late in the day right now. I would have made food a lot earlier, but we just had no appetite at all. I'm gonna make some food. I'm gonna make some medieval food. So, and again, I can't share the recipes, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try and share more of the process with you than I did with the last one from yesterday. Yesterday, I made lamb 3 ways with 3 different sauces. I didn't quite know what that process was going to be like, and I didn't know how to share that with you without giving too much away. And also, I still have this issue where I have no light in my kitchen. So I am still in this very small little area with a tripod and 2 stand lights that are, by the way, right in my eyeballs. So it's a challenging day, but I am up to this challenge. I am. I didn't want to do it, but then I came into my kitchen and I started amassing my ingredients, and I just started looking at my cutting board with my vegetables and my herbs and things and my mortar and pestle, and I'll tell you what, you know what? There is just something about the experience of crushing up herbs in a stone mortar and pestle for a medieval recipe that just makes you feel so cool. So, I mean, that's part of it as well. And I just started looking at this, and I started finding that excitement again. There are recipes that I'm not going to be making today because I'm doing what I can, and sometimes that's all you can do, is just what you have the wherewithal to do at the given moment. Today what I'm going to be making is some sausages. It doesn't say what kind of sausages. It just said sausages. And I think in England, where again this class is being, taught from, I think there is more of a generic idea of sausages. Here in the United States, we have a lot more variety. We're kind of known for, you know, you go into the grocery store and there's 800 types of bread and there's, you know, a million types of everything. And when you say sausage, people are like, well, what kind of sausage? Pork sausage, beef sausage, chicken sausage? Do you want to, you know, with some jalapeno and cheese in it? Or do you want it with like sage and whatever, your breakfast sausage? What kind of sausages are we talking about? You know, just play it safe and get some bratwurst. Will that work? We're gonna find out. The other fun challenge here is figuring out what kind of accompaniment goes with a recipe you've never eaten before. I don't know what these sauces are gonna taste like. I know that it's 2 variations on a parsley sauce, which is interesting because I made a parsley sauce last night, although parsley sauce, it had a lot of parsley, but it had a lot of herbs in it. It was so yummy. It was so good. I have been craving that flavor all day. It made not only a wonderful sauce for lamb, but also just a phenomenal sauce, like a salad dressing. That's going into my permanent repertoire. I will make that sauce again. It was so good. So this is gonna be 2 other, I think, slightly different versions of that, and that goes on the sausages. And so I haven't tasted those, so I don't know what that goes with. But the nice thing is they do provide you with certain information like the vegetarian substitute. So I'm figuring if this is going to make a good substitute to go with that sauce, that means it's probably going to make a good accompaniment. One of the recipes said, look, if you don't want to use sausages, maybe use baked apples. And then the other one says, you know, if you don't want to use sausages, if you're vegetarian or vegan, use roasted cauliflower. There is some good news. There's been some discussion about them releasing a cookbook of these recipes, which I really hope they do. There were, in the Zoom call where that was being discussed, people were very positive about that idea. That's not something that would be happening tomorrow, unfortunately. I mean, it's still gonna be written. I think that they're using this class in a way to get feedback on some of the recipes. And so they'll probably, my guess is they're gonna do that a couple of times. I think if they're smart, they would do that and just collect a lot of feedback, see what trouble, you know, an average cook would have and what they think of it and what they added and what changes they made. And then they'll refine their recipe and then come up with the best version of it, and then they'll put that into a cookbook. So that's not gonna happen overnight, but take heart, I think that's gonna happen. I am gonna get started cooking. I'm gonna chop up my cauliflower, and I'm going to go ahead and roast that. I'm gonna get that started first because the sausages don't take that long to cook, and the sauces are not gonna take that long. So first thing that has to happen is my cauliflower and my apples so that I can make some kind of an attempt at pretending I'm good at time management. Okay, so I adjusted the lights. I don't know that I improved anything too much, but they are less unpleasant to me. Please forgive the glare. We're working with what we got today. So my hair is held up by a knitting needle. I'm wearing yesterday's eyeliner. It's that kind of day, but we're still gonna eat good food. So I have, just so you can see what it did, I chopped up some cauliflower, not too much. Neither of us have a real big appetite right now, but I do want to see how it goes as an accompaniment. And I chopped up the apples. It occurred to me, I haven't made baked apples in a really long time, like years and years and years. And the last time I did, it was all like you keep the apple whole and you put, you know, sweet and you know, spicy kind of things on it, you know, cinnamon and whatnot. I don't know how to sort of just make it with an inert flavor with, you know, no kind of anything added. I don't know, should I toss it with olive oil? I mean, what am I supposed to be doing here? And I realized I'm kind of like flying blind with this because I didn't have a plan. But what's helping is that I'm looking at this as an experiment and not like a meal. So I feel like that's less pressure. Whatever I do is going to be fine because it's going to be a data point that's going to help me to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing next time. So if I mess this up and this was the wrong way to do it, well, then next time I'll do it better. I'm still going to eat whatever it is. I'm not going to waste food. You know, it's got to be terrible for me to throw it out. And it's not going to be terrible. How are you going to mess up apples? It's going to be fine. So I put a little bit of salt on here. I didn't even know whether I should put salt on the apples. I mean, salting apples seems weird. You can always add flavor later, but you can't take it away once you did the thing. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven now, and hopefully they will get cooked while I do the rest of the stuff. It's gonna take me longer than it should take me to do the rest of it. So I think And that's just because of me and who I am as a person. Because I'm going to be bumbling around quite a bit, making 2 sauces at once and cooking sausages. If I were making this later, having already made it, it would go pretty quickly. But because I'm, again, just kind of bumbling my way through it, it's going to take longer than it needs to take. I'm going to set up my sausages to cook, and I'm going to get started on the sauces. And it's a complicated process on the sauces, and there's some secret steps I can't share with you. I don't know what I can and can't share with you, so I'm just erring on the side of caution. I'm just doing my best. So part of this recipe, for one of the recipes, calls for using the verjuice. It says vinegar, but it says if you want to use verjuice, you can. It's a new ingredient. Of course I want to use it. Of course I want to. But I haven't opened it yet. Figured I'd wait for you. I'm very, very curious. That smells so heckin' good. What? Oh. That smells so particular. There's a particular memory that I have attached with this smell, and it'd be wonderful if it tasted like it smelled. When I was a kid, about middle school age, I decided I wanted to be fancy, and my absolute favorite thing to do was just to set up a whole scene for myself for a relaxing experience. But I was a kid, so I could only do so much. We had these amazing classical music stations in Michigan because they were coming over from Canada. Canada has some great classical music stations. I would go and buy these cheap crap chocolates in a box, but they seemed fancy. I didn't even really enjoy the taste of them. It's what I could afford because I was middle school aged. I had this fancy dish that I found in a barn. It's Michigan, go with it. It's Michigan. But it was a really nice old like china dish. And so I would put that in there and feel very fancy. And I had one really beautiful like etched wine glass that I had bought somewhere because one of the set got damaged and they sold me the one glass for very cheap. So I had one glass, and these were like prized possessions. And I had this non-alcoholic wine that I bought that was so delicious. And I would pour myself a glass of wine, and I would have my chocolates, and I would take a bath and listen to classical music and maybe read a book or something. And that was like the best part of my life at the time. Smelling this is a very nice memory. It doesn't taste the same. It tastes way better. This is so much nicer than I thought it would be. It tastes like apples and honey. I didn't expect it to be sweet. This is beautiful. This is really, really nice. This is Wolfer Estate verjuice. My understanding was that this was going to be a lot more tart than it turned out to be. But like, I don't think you're supposed to drink the whole bottle, but I could. Let me just say that. It is non-alcoholic, by the way. It is like wine, but it's not wine. So it's not alcoholic. Which is probably why it's still so sweet. It doesn't have that fermented kind of flavor. It doesn't, when you ferment something, the bacteria eats all the sugars in it. And so you're left with something that's far less sweet. I wish I could describe how good this tastes. This sauce better be good. Because like, if I'm using some of this on there, it better be a damn good sauce. Okay, just checking in. I am partway through one sauce. You can't quite, maybe I can do this. Purpley, sort of. So you can see there's one sauce kind of happening. The reason I have not put the sausages on to cook yet is because I realized they are fully cooked. So they're going to take about a minute to cook. I have made my first attempt at one of the sauces. There's this green stuff here with some floaty bits. It's a little bit sludgy. Smooth, crunchy, like you want a sauce to be. I might have to tweak that. I'm gonna have to figure out what this needs to temper this a little bit, because maybe I missed an ingredient. Just gonna check. I must have read something wrong in the recipe. I think I probably missed an ingredient. I'll let you know. I made a mistake with the sauce. I didn't think something through when I was trying to improve it, and I think I accidentally improved it the wrong way. I also took a liberty with the recipe. It was just real tart and really sharp and just, above and beyond. And I didn't know how to fix it, so I added just a little bit of honey. It wasn't in the recipe, but it's improving it. It's still very tart. It's still, but more palatable. And also, we don't generally sit and eat sauce with a spoon. So the real question will be when we put it on the food. I got this stuff going on. That smells delightful. I have to do more stuff to it though. Okay, second sauce is done. Moment of truth. That's so weird. It's pleasant, but it's very sweet. Whereas the other one was very sour. I almost feel like if I mix the two of them together, I'd get a very nice sauce. Also, there was a flavor in here that I was afraid of adding too much of. And so I think I didn't add enough of it because I don't really taste it when it's in there. But I think also that I'm glad that I used the verjuice in this one and the cider vinegar in the other, because I think they would have tasted a little bit too similar. I'm wondering if that incredible sweetness of that verjuice is sort of what you would normally expect from verjuice, because I'd always heard it was very tart. So I wonder if that's really, like, if it's skewing the flavor, like if it's not supposed to be this sweet. I mean, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be whatever I feel like eating. And I got the general gist, and I got the lesson of like why people were eating what, and I got all the information that they give us. So it's not like I'm not getting my money's worth out of the class if I don't get it exactly perfect. And if I get it just right and it tastes like something I don't want to eat, then like, is that really a victory? I mixed a spoonful of each. I'm just curious. If this is no good, I only wasted this little teeny tiny bit, but I am a curious cat right now. I think that's our winner right there. If you end up getting to take this class or finding another way to try these recipes, I would love to hear what you think of this. And I do recommend just taking a little bit, mixing the two together and seeing what you think. Okay, so Brian was nice enough to wake up and try what I made. So let me tell you what you have here, okay? And keep in mind that this is an experiment, so maybe it's bad. So you've got some sausages right there in the middle. You got some baked apples, and you've got some cauliflower. Now these are the two different sauces. Mm-hmm. And I've got them in front of the things that they probably will accompany better. But you, honestly, I kind of think it should be the other way around. Oh, I got you a shovel. So I thought I was being clever with putting them in these little spice jars that I saved. And then I was like, what's small enough to get that sauce out of there? And I remembered I had that teeny little shovel I got from Wish because I'm ridiculous. That's parsley sauce number 1. What are we thinking?
It's good.
Okay.
And I do like the cauliflowers.
Okay. And it's really supposed to be more a sauce for the sausages, but these are the things that they gave as the vegetarian substitutes. So if you weren't going to eat sausages at all, you know, this is what you would put it on.
So far, they're both pleasant, you know.
Okay. Any thoughts on either one?
It's hard to tell because I'm not used to eating apples or cauliflower, so
That's true.
I've got that flavor.
Sounds so offended.
It's good, but I have no idea what it is, so.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I can't tell you on camera what it is.
Right.
But it's a parsley sauce. They're both herb sauces.
Right.
Stella, is this a thing that has to happen? It is? Really? Silly girl. So I do want you to try one other thing.
Okay.
And that's this one. I wanted to see what it would taste like if I mixed a little bit of each one together. Because I feel like one of them is a bit sour and one of them is a bit sweet. And I just thought, you know, that sounds like two things that would be good together. Okay, give me like a 1 to 10. Overall, 1 to 10.
Jeez, I don't know. Like, that all tastes pretty good.
Okay.
So I'd say like 7.
Okay,
For like,
take it.
you know, goodness.
We'll take that.
I mean, 10 being like the best thing I've ever eaten. You know,
For sure, yeah. Look, like, don't flatter me. If
I'm
it's not great, you know, just, it's okay to say it.
No,
So,
it's pleasant.
Yeah, 7 feels fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it something you would eat again on purpose?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, that's as good an endorsement as I could hope for. So.
All right.
Because I have certainly had you try things that you very definitely didn't like. So, so that's a win. Okay, so dinner is done. Plates have been cleaned. Stella is very interested in smelling my breath because she's unfamiliar with what I just ate. I definitely, I think I was right about the flavor being a bit different once you put it on food. Both sauces turned out to be very enjoyable. Oh boy, oh, sleepy. So, what did I learn today? Well, let's see. I learned a couple of new sauces. I now that I have those locked in my memory bank, I think I might play with them and add some things and change some stuff up and see how I want to put my own spin on that. I learned that you can totally just bake apples with nothing on them and they're yummy. I feel like that's information that I'm gonna be glad that I have at some point. I ate food and now I want to go take a nap, but instead I'm probably just gonna like doom scroll through Facebook and keep refreshing the election results map, even though I know it's not going to be decided tonight. You can't not follow it. So tonight's going to be an interesting night. Luckily, oh, I did learn something. It turns out I like wine more than I thought I did. I've never been a big wine drinker, but I had to buy some wine for this class, and I don't know anything about wine, so I just did my best with picking wines that I thought would be good for the various purposes. And I got lucky with this one. What is this, a Yellowtail Merlot? I'll drink that. Yeah. Oh. All right, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I go through this process of learning new things and experimenting. I hope that you learned something. I can't give you all the information, but I gave you what I can, and at least you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. Please remember to like and subscribe, share the video if you feel like doing that. I'm still making the vegetable videos. This is just a short-term thing I'm doing right now because it's to get an opportunity to pass up. I don't know what the world looks like where you are from where I am now. I'm a little nervous to find out, but I hope whatever's going on for you in whatever time you're in, I hope you're okay. I hope things are good. I hope for good news. So, take care of yourself. We're all in this together. I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye.
Hey, turn up the caramel and shizzle on the shizney. It's time for me to what? Let me introduce myself. I'm Gina Burrito. My pants are made of leather. I find a